Thank you all for having me. I want to thank Ken for inviting me personally. Know Ken a long, long time. And before I really begin, I work with sound. And so I'd like to start with sound, my version of sound, but I'm going to ask you to join in. I call it vibrational heart toning. It's a gift that came to me many years ago at this point. And um, one of the parts of it is that it is your own creation. It is whatever sound sets you free. And so starting that as our intention, I am going to begin. Please join. I've done this work for a long time now, and yet I'm still nervous. It's always so fun. And it's such a welcoming, warm sense I get here. And there's something special that we're going to co-create because that is the work we're doing now. We've always done it, but as we are walking more into this time, this energy is a powerful energy of manifestation. And it's a very different term. I have to tell you that language to me, what I understood it to be and what it means to me now is all shifting, just like time is shifting. We are not who we were even 10 minutes ago. It's moving so fast. I started this journey, I came here on this journey, but I didn't know a thing. And I still don't on so many levels, and yet I know it all. So it's this combination of this back and forth that is our experience of trusting. Of all the things that I've ever had in my life, the word that always comes through from my guides is trust. You don't need the answer now. Trust. It will be there. It will be there. It will be there. And my experience has shown me that is true. However, that doesn't help me. Well, it sort of does. Because experience has taught me, okay, I will move out of this tremendous, awful feeling and this awful situation, and I will come out the other side with something that is more precious than I could understand when I went into it. Mm-hmm. It's the journey. We're all here because we agreed to be here. You all agreed in this soul embodiment to have the lives you picked. There are no victims. Took me a long time to get to that part of the story. And in the early 90s, I started on this journey. I was married, had 4 children. I'm a nurse. I got divorced, went into this period. And I find it interesting because I didn't know a thing. I really was not awake on that sense, other than Al-Anon. I was led to Al-Anon. Al-Anon taught me about what to do with fear. Fear, as I learned it, was false evidence appearing real. It became the foundation that saved me through all the ups and downs of going through tremendous change. Now, this was my agreement, and all these individuals in my life who were difficult were my teachers, and I am very grateful. And here again, it's taken me quite a while to get to that place. But the journey of letting go has given me so much freedom and joy to continue on the search and to continue refeeding myself, because I'm the only one that can do it. I used to think that who I am was based on what I did. I'm a caregiver. I'm a nurturer. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a this, I'm a that. And in these last number of years, the journey has been about that outward stuff will still be true on a certain level. And at the same time, the first person I need to nurture is me. And I knew very little about it. In my upbringing, that was not a part of what was nurtured. You gave and you gave and you gave and you gave, and then you gave more. And then. So in the early 90s, I was introduced to my teacher. And it was not what I was looking for. And I said, absolutely not. She taught channeling. I was not looking for channeling. I'm a nurse. I'm a professional person. I'm an ex-Catholic. Please, all this spooky stuff. What do you mean? Okay. Or I want to rephrase that. I'm an incorporated Catholic. Let's put it that way. I am relearning the experience of what that was. Because I need to keep transforming the language of where I identify myself and what things mean. So it's a constant shifting, changing experience of realizing that my thoughts and what I speak are affecting me. And so I want to attempt to shift out of blame, shame, guilt, separation into the self-love and self-caring. And it is a work in process. And sometimes are more intense. I went to my teacher's home 2 weeks after I found out about her. And I had no idea why I was there. I had one experience with energy, and I had gone to a weekend at Barbara Brennan's school and wanted to join. I wanted desperately to, but I had no clue. The first time I used energy, kept wondering, why am I here? Like, I don't do any of this stuff. All these other people are doing. Why am I here? The experience was to show me, although my desire for something was very strong, I've lived at that time with the understanding that if it was for me, all of the parts would come to me and be smooth. And if it wasn't, then I was to move on. I didn't like it because I had to move on. I couldn't do that. Introduced later to my teacher of now 30 years. She passed 2 years ago in her 90s. But for 30 years, I studied with her in that we formed a group of ascension energy to do transformational work to allow in through vibration all of the beings that are always present, but are now able to communicate in a much deeper way with us. When I walked into her home and she said, "We'll channel," and I'm like, I started speaking, but I felt like I came home. That transformation for me helped me understand this was my place. And it was a very different experience because then I got really scared. And it came easily. I mean, it was just there. It wasn't like I had to go searching or find it or learn it or discover. It just was present. And at the same time was my other voice saying, "You can't say that. What do you know? You don't know that person. What do you mean you're going to?" And then I eventually let that voice settle. The experience of these last number of years has been about letting go of anything I thought I'd understood and truly stepping out, like over the edge all the time. It feels like even more so now, because as we're coming into this really, I think it's like we have finished the work, the chapter of where we have lived. And we are moved already into, I'm going to refer to it as fifth dimensional energy and beyond. Third dimension is where we are still seeing all of this because we're still physical beings in that third dimensional space. Sometimes I feel disconnected from it more so than ever before. And other times it is like it wants to live in me and own me because it comes as fear. So my work, and I'll have to tell you, in the last 3 weeks, it has been incredibly intense. A lot of emotion. There's grieving going on. There is new experiences of your own personality in this now time. And who are you? Where are you? What are your choices? And it isn't that. So I've had a number of things happen in these last 2 years physically. And one of the parts of this time that is very different is that we have merged into the physicality in a brand new way. So we are feeling things in a brand new manner because our physical being has changed. We actually have, and you probably know of some of this, and I can't prove a word, but eventually they will. Our DNA is crystalline. We have moved from the carbon model to the crystalline, so that we have an endless source. Now, let me also say, everything that is happening now is already present in us. It is just that we are now at a point where our vibrational being can accept the energy that's now present without like completely frying our systems. And even some days, and I bet you notice this, when the energies are high or there's a big shift or the moon is full or it's a new moon or the Pleiadians have come, or the Pluto or this, all this is coming and coming and coming. You can feel wiped out. You may even get sick. Think of it as a blessing. Shift how you are holding these pieces so that you can honor. And I've had an experience last year with a heart episode, and it lasted for 4 months. And all I could do in that period of time was to keep surrendering and being angry and upset and isolated and all of it. But what I got to understand was that this was a part of my agreement. And I needed to be completely taken out of my normal schedule, my normal way of being, so that I could just be. And it was difficult. I had a lot of support, and I was completely on my own in that sense of you always are. You always are. So who am I in here? Who am I that I want to radiate out? Because I am a powerful being. Now, I can make that statement. I can't tell you I believe it. I know it, but I don't always know how to be it. I really don't. But this is the process of being human. Our emotions, our feelings, our little voices up there are shifting and changing how they interact with us. And they are allowing us in our humanity to merge mind, body, spirit in a brand new way. It's always been the possibility because we've always been whole. We were never broken. Part of third dimension, its power over, is that you need these structures, you need all this overarching power to keep you safe. And it has happened for such a long time. Our physical bodies retain that memory. So what we are shifting is that memory, and we are freeing it up. That's part of the reason the DNA crystalline nature has shown up. And that's Clyde came to me a couple of years ago. So these are the Andara, several of these. This is Mary Magdalene. This is the Eagle Dragon. And this is Mama. And I worked the first energies that really came to me were the mothers. And the Divine Feminine has worked with me closely. And then Clyde showed up maybe 4 years ago or so, but it's about the DNA change. this is considered a sea foam. It's filled with bubbles. And Clyde is also a dragon. So I'll tell you my dragon story. So about 6 years ago, I went on a retreat, and it was in this wonderful place, and it had lots and lots of labyrinths made of crystals, star dreaming out in the Santa Fe area. And I really wasn't sure why I was there. And then the very last day, so this gentleman had created portals, and they were standing stones and all kinds of crystal arrangements. It's a magnificent place. I was going in, it was nighttime, it was our last night there. I walked through, and it was called the Grandfather Circle. I walked through that circle, and something happened to me, and I really don't know what happened, but it's the most fun I've ever had. I became a dragon. And now I speak, and light language came, light language, speaking in tongues, that kind of, I don't know if people are familiar, but it's that, to me, it's a universal language. It's how the universes communicate.
Yeah.
And so it allows us in our own knowing, we've come from all these beings, all these places. We've brought forward that information, although it's tucked away, of who we've been, because we have been in all of them, and we have transformed here in order to participate in this huge awakening. We agreed and we were picked. It's a combination. So when I walked through and I started to speak light language, I spoke with such power at individuals, and I was telling them off. I was communicating very clearly in that language, whatever it was. I was enthralled with it. Now, I am usually, I mean, although I make this sound that can be quite loud, I am usually more of a reticent kind of, I'll stay in the back kind of placement within me, personality. I was in the fire pit dancing. This is not my usual agenda, but it was a magnificent experience. And then several years later, I started working actively with dragons. Dragons are not just the mythical storyline. Dragons work here now with the angelic realm because they can do more on the earth. This is a wonderful book. Her name is Diana Cooper. Some of you may know of her, I don't know, but she speaks about the qualities that dragons bring in helping us on our daily lives in a powerful way. And they combine with unicorns and the various realms that we've held as story. And part of the thing I want to bring back, I'm not sure timing, so I don't want to.
Yeah, we're kind of behind today anyway, but still we do try to wrap up the talk around 11.
Okay, well, thank you. Okay, let's try. Part of the story with the dragons is that I use them now in my daily life. And generally, I'm the kind of person who I just pick up a book. I rarely read it cover to cover. It's just not what speaks to me. Mm-hmm. And so the dragons come in a manner to give us messages, and they're all about freedom. They're all about empowerment and using the energy of source to enlighten us in a way that in this embodiment stage where we are having to relearn what self-love means, setting new boundaries. There are many, many terms to me that keep shifting and morphing. One of them is compassionate heart. I used to think I understood that. And I mean, truthfully, there's many words I begin to see as we go more into vibration, that the meaning of them keeps growing. It's shifting out of what I can find it to into this enormous experience. And the experience that we are having, I truthfully don't call things learning anymore, because learning to me implies a pass fail. Maybe that's just me going to school, but it is a part of it. But it is this fact that the experiences that we have are our endowment. They're our gift. They teach us in a way that nothing else can usually, or we would have done it somehow other differently. If we could just learn it with a snap of our fingers, all of us would have done it. But we are here for particular reasons to engage with others. So we are relearning, re-experiencing many of our cultural beliefs, many of our relationships in this life that we have got to reset boundaries. One of the pieces I've come to be aware of is that everyone is here on their journey. Therefore, they have been given everything that they need to do the soul journey they are in. Whether we think it or not has nothing to do with it. The more I can honor that and create a boundary of love and caring, but a clear boundary that you can no longer feed off of me. As people who have been empaths and are awakened, we have felt it was our job to nurture and support others' growth. What I'm going to say is, yes, but not the way we did it before. We must do it out of our own filled heart. The only way we can do that is to keep exploring who we are. And these last couple of weeks, I've got to tell you, have been some of the hardest I've had, because all of a sudden I'm fine and then I'm a blubbering mess. And someone described it as we're in this wobble. It's like, I'm not a depressed person generally, and some of those gray, rainy days, I was flying here. And then I would look out the window, and COVID taught me this. My window's on the second floor, my office, and the little buds are on the trees. And that for me was the sign of hope. It's like, okay, spring is here. It's coming. I can count on that. Hang on a little longer. Hang on. Because that's sometimes all you've got. And it's like, go into my breath. Tone. Make the tone that sets you free. I still, after doing this for 30 years, have to remind myself, this will help. It will help. And the dragons. So I'm going to share with you a dragon that I think I use all the time, because for me, it's in the daily life that we are, oh, can't read pages, that we are open to receive. And this is where we have all these different experiences. And when we find that there is somebody that really irritates us, or is really just, in your space, etc. And it's like, how can I disconnect in such a way that I am true to me? And somebody said to me, and you can be snippy, and you can be very clear if you need to be, because some people don't get the message if you're just nice about it. And I'm not saying to be attacking, but to be clear. First, I got to know what that means. So that's my journey of this. But in this now time, I use Archangel Michael's deep blue dragon, because Archangel Michael is the great deep blue angel of strength and protection, in charge of the throat chakra of humanity. His powerful dragons work with him to bring strength, protection, and inspiration to people everywhere. He helps protect your daily life. What I see is when those skies are gray and hanging on me, I see him elevate that sky. So it's not on me, and I can remember the blue. And in that manner, I take my power back, because otherwise I'm caught in that loop, that outside loop of fear, upset, disconnection, whatever I'm going through. And it's acknowledging it. I'm not saying our feelings are important. We have to acknowledge them. And at the same time, we don't want them to own us. So fear can still be present, but I make a decision that I will find my joy. I am the only one who can find joy. Joy for me is a decision as well. And it doesn't mean this, oh, balloons and confetti. It means finding the little bud on that tree or the cardinal, because that speaks to me as well. So what are your tools? Toning is a tool. Having a sense of what keeps you in yourself, what helps you home. Is it the breath? Is it the song? To line up some of your tools so you have them handy. Mantras, whatever works for you, but keep them short and sweet. It's not like we are sitting down to meditate in the same way. We're not, because it's a constant. So mindful of the 11, I'm just going to point out Diana Cooper, and you can look at this book, is on YouTube. She is a wonderful source. Only comment I would make is, remember this was written earlier, somewhere in the 2012, somewhere, I'm not exactly sure of the book. So some of the information is still stating when this comes. We are now here. She has further updated information, but this book still. I want to give a very brief message, a channeled message, because that's 2 announcements with that though. I do sessions at my home and on Zoom. I do a monthly session for people to join, and I can give you information. I need a sign-up sheet back there if you're interested, or you can talk to me later about it. I have cards here, and that's it. All right. So switching gears. We, the mothers, come that you may know in the very heart of you that you are loved. There is nothing more you need to do in order to achieve anything, for it is already present. You have been diligent in this journey in the physical, for you have agreed to be in this transformational school. This earth being, fear not for anything. The earth is much more a resilient mother than anyone gives her credit for. She will not be destroyed. She will not. What we are saying to each one is, you are powerful beings. Honor and nurture that power. Shift how you speak to yourself. Honor your journey, all of your wisdom, all of what you might once have called failures or horrible events. Embrace them. That is not to deny what it means, but rather to give it the true significance, to wrap it in that cocoon of light and love, that it is transformed in this manner where there is such intensity of fear, false evidence appearing real. Honor that you can move into the heart space and automatically know you are loved, you are cared for, and everything you need is already there. You are manifesting a great deal of what you think. Now, we would say to you, it is not, oh, I want a house or income or a this or a that. That can be part of it in a gentler, softer way, but rather, how will I feel when the world is inclusive, when everyone knows there is more than enough, that I am nurturing and feeding from my heart to any I meet, that I am both student and teacher, that I am honoring the journey I have picked with Creator. We have all come to this place of co-creation. It is a journey of magnificence and honor. And in this now time, we say to you, allow yourself in this now moment to know who you are in this deeper breath. Allow yourself to be in peace and harmony, that you may know the truth of you. The divine feminine mother comes to reset, like the strong mother, that rebalance that is needed of the world, inclusive in so many levels. Be the peace that you already are. Follow the wisdom. The divine masculine coming into balance is there as the protector. Different than the warrior, and yet with elements that nurture while standing in the firmness and the truth of self-love. Not power over in any manner, for either feminine or masculine, but the power with. We are giving each one a new level of intimacy, a new ability to experience life in its fullness, in its truth and harmony, for you are loved. Please come.